what I have really come to believe, Alex, is that career development at its core, it's a relationship that plays out through conversation. And not those conversations that happen once a year, off in an office, putting everything together in a plan that gets stuck away for 12 months until we think about it again. It's an ongoing day in and day out relationship, understanding where people are coming from, what's interesting to them today, what they're learning, what they want to learn, where the gaps exist, and that means having those day in and day out conversations, which kind of back to an earlier theme that you were bringing up, can be more challenging in a remote and hybrid environment, right? Because back in the workplace, when we were all co-located, we were bumping into each other and having some of those ad hoc organic conversations. But out here in virtual world, we've got to be a lot more intentional about it. So it takes extra effort and more deliberate attention on the part of managers and employees as well to make that happen.
And that sounds like the one thing that is going to be kind of applicable across all these things, except for promotions and raises, because they can happen in a second, but everything else now is becoming challenging because of the remote experience of everyone, right? It's not just there. I can't just see how that person is actually experiencing their day. What are their challenges? I can't overhear a phone call anymore. I can't, just be across it. So that intention of staying across it has to be very high. Let's jump to competence, right? Because competence almost seems like that's like a normal one, but I guess it's not really.
Well, you know what? I do think it's a normal one. I think it's much more pedestrian and mainstream. When we think about developing careers, we think about what are the skills, what are the abilities, what are the capabilities that someone needs in order to move forward toward whatever their goal might be. I guess the point of view that we take, that I take in the chapter, is more about how we as leaders can orchestrate learning that's more organic and in role. One of the things, kind of like promotions, are a little bit out of our control as managers and employees. The classes, the programs, the seminars, the conferences, in many cases, those are out of our control as well. And yet that's sort of our default thinking when we think, somebody's got to learn something, send them to school, send them to class, send them to a workshop. And it costs money and it's not always available. And yet the truth is managers, leaders have a tool that's, and I make my living off of training. So please know it's good stuff. Keep buying it, everybody. And your training department in your organization, they're filled with gods and goddesses. So keep supporting them. That said, that's just a small percentage of how we can learn. Leaders and managers can co-create with their employees for next to nothing experiences that bring the learning right into the workplace. And so that's a big chunk of what we take on in that chapter is how can you and the employee look at the workplace and find the opportunities to organically grow and morph and challenge yourself and learn new skills. Maybe it's with others through coaching and mentoring and job shadowing. Maybe it's through job crafting, shifting some roles around, or maybe it's through really intentional activities that we create that give people the opportunity to try on new skills, to stretch, to experiment a little, fall down, fail, pick themselves up and figure it out again.